So, hello, Stefan. It's a pleasure to see you. Thank you very much for joining us today. So, first, could you introduce yourself? Who are you and what do you do?
Hello, I'm Stefan Schiffner. I'm with ECCP and I'm a professor in IT security and network and computer networks. I'm teaching at BHA at the University of Applied Science in Hamburg. And I'm researching privacy implications of technology, ethics of technology, and computer security in general. And yeah, that's my interest basically.
Very nice. And why are you doing research?
Well, my motivation for research is really the understanding that computers are influencing society. They basically make society, technology in general, and I really want to be part of this process. I want to see how technology is used for the good in the world, and hopefully avoid the bad things of society at the same of technology at the same time.
Very interesting. I understand you represent ECCP. Could you present your organization?
ECCP is the European Center of Certification and Privacy. It's specialized in certification processes and personal data protection and the Internet of Things. Yeah, in that way, we research in particular how to certify Internet of Things processes in terms of privacy, and we also own actually a certification scheme under the GDPR and Swiss Data Protection Act.
And you're also part of the AD4GD project. Could you explain what it is about?
So AD4DG in general is about collecting data for environmental issues, and our problem here is, of course, as a privacy involved or privacy interested research team, that it is all nice to collect all kinds of environmental data using Internet of Things devices, but this means always that someone is close to these devices and someone is collecting this data. And of course, it is basically, it should be used to improve and the understanding of environment, to improve the knowledge about certain processes, but of course, it always comes with a certain risk for the people next to the devices or using these devices for other purposes, in particular risks for their rights to freedom of information. And now that's how we come to this question: how can we balance these things between people and their rights to freedom of information, and how we can use information still for the benefit, and in particular for AD4GD, to the benefit of monitoring the environment, basically, environmental factors, very different factors.
Very nice. And as ECCP, what will be your role in this project concretely?
Concretely, we have two main involvements. So one is the legal compliance. So as said before, these devices have a direct impact on the freedoms of information. And in Europe, we have in foremost, of course, the general data protection regulation, which is important. Then you have to follow it, even as a researcher. Even if you state you are working for the good, you need to be compliant with this. But it's not the only thing. So there is also the NIS directive, there is the e-privacy directive. So there is probably upcoming regulations. For example, we expect that the AI Act might have an impact on the aims of AD4GD. So yeah, this is a whole idea on the legal side, but compliance is more than this. It's also to be compliant with our own rules. and of course, with our own ethical setup. So we ourselves, of course, also stated, or our partners all stated, that we want to do ethical research. And for this, we, of course, we inherit the rules of the institutions, but also set out our own rule set. And of course, we cannot only claim that we want to be ethical and then do nothing, but we need to ensure that we are compliant to this. And this is basically the dual role of ECCP in the project.
Thank you very much. And so why would you say that 84GD is fundamentally important, and what can it change?
The fundamental importance of 84GD is bringing data together. It is, and bringing data from very many sources and distributed sources together. One might quickly assume that with all the technology today, we measured everything. But then if you go into details, you will see that lots of data might be possible to measure, but we can't do it because it's at so many different places at the same time you would need to measure. So I have one example which really struck me, which was in the kickoff meeting. I was talking to someone saying that they have hundreds and hundreds, with a partner in Berlin, with hundreds bodies of water throughout the city. And they actually, because it's so many, they don't know the actual state of these bodies of water in terms of water quality. You cannot have a probe for every of these bodies of water. And this is only a single city. So you can imagine that if you observe the entire world, you cannot put everywhere a probe. Now the question is, how can we use easier measurements from devices people have, or from other data sources which are coincidental, and we can guess like these kind of things, because measuring it like we do it nowadays, every single probe, it's impossible. So, and having all this, knowing all this information about the environment, then you can also find out what can we do to protect the environment, what can we do to identify problems, what can we do to use resources in the right way. So we need these measurements and these data to do the right thing, and there's the challenge of the project, or actually not only the challenge, I think we are gone a long way to solve a lot of these challenges, to have this data by the project.
Very interesting. Thank you very much. As a follow-up question, who will benefit of 84GD?
Oh, I think it's a society thing. I think using data in an ethical and responsible way in general, this is not only for environmental data like 84GD. I think this is society. If we use the data in the right way, we will have a better society. And in the case for 84GD, it's probably the environment which will win. And a good environment is what also is good for the people living in this environment, of course.
Thank you very much. I have one last question for you. What is your dream for the future?
Probably I want to have a world where future generations can live and enjoy the beauty of the world. And this is not only the beauty of our environment we live in the sense of nature, but also in a sense of the beauty which is created by mankind. And this is not only like arts and nice things, but also technology, which is helping improving life quality a lot. So probably this is, I hope, for the joy of people, of the beauty, man-made or nature provided, so to say.
Thank you very much, Stefan, for making the time for us today.
Thanks a lot for having me.